Okay. We are live. And yes, interesting times. Interesting times. Absolutely. I was going to call this live stream I Was Wrong About Trump. Um, but then admitting that you're wrong on the internet is dangerous, isn't it? Even though we should do it. So, yes, we're going to talk about this, and hopefully, people will discover this live stream. It did not show up for some reason, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Sharp Canines and KP Eden, D Stew and Akimi, good to see you all. Yeah, crazy times. Well, maybe not so crazy if we think about it. We have been conditioned to think that the abnormal is normal. And I'm just going to give it a few seconds while people are joining here. And I'm kind of going to explain how I look at the whole thing as a Northern European, as a Norwegian, and what it boils down to. What's important here? Let's see here. Vegeta Cyan McAnon. Hello, Ian. Angela, good to see you. Okay, wonderful. The historian is also here. Okay, yes, I was a bit surprised. Maybe I should have discovered this earlier, but here's what Trump is saying: no tax on income under 100, no income tax on income under $150,000 per year. So no, yes, these two says Trump would like to have anyone earning 150K, $150,000 or less pay no tax, no income tax. Yes. What a game changer. Now, many people, especially in Europe, especially in Norway, high tax countries, they will say, oh, no, that's dangerous. Oh, no, you can't do that. It will drive up inflation and so on and so on. But the fact is that, okay, as I often say, let me put it this way. I have a background from economics in, studying economics in school. And I was looking at the things that they were doing, that they are doing in the USA now, and it doesn't make sense. It's a recipe for disaster. But I couldn't understand, because you see, I don't think Trump is stupid. You might say that he's this and that, but I don't think he's stupid, So there was this missing piece, right? And no tax under 150K is that missing piece. What we are looking at now is actually at least an attempt to change the USA into an entirely different economy. It's a different setup. It's a different organization of the country. When you have no tax under 150K per year, you have to make other changes, right? Now, Elon Musk is hated for what he's doing now. I don't think he should be, actually. They are preparing the entire nation, the USA, for the post-industrial society, the post-industrial era. You can, if you're listening to this, you can look that up. A lot of people, a lot of jobs will not be needed, and it has to be done. Well, is it doing it in the correct way? I don't know, but it has to be done. Someone has to do it sooner or later. And mark my words, this is coming to all countries in the Western world. So that's happening. Tariffs and all of that, he has been criticized for that, and rightly so. But if you look at the whole setup and you add to this no tax for income tax for those earning 150K, which is a lot of money, on 150K or under, you're looking at a very different kind of society. And there are actually nations with that kind of setup. Okay. So to me, and those countries, they seem to work, you know. But you can't have the same setup with a so-called welfare state. Well, I don't know if the USA could be called a welfare state at all, but you can't have the bureaucracy, you can't have the expenses, you can't have, you have to change a lot of things in order for that to happen, in order to transfer into that other kind of society, that other kind of setup, that other kind of economy. So if he pulls this off, yeah, it's a sweetener. No, yeah, okay, but let's just think about this. If this happens, and I'm not sure if he can pull it off, do I think that he wants it? Yes, I actually think that. I actually think that Trump is not an ideologue, but there are things that he would like to see happening. Peace in Europe is one of those things. Do I agree with the Americans' plan for peace? Well, I don't know that plan. Nobody does at this point. It doesn't look so great per now, but that's a different topic. Here's the fact, me personally, I have worked myself into hopefully temporary ill health. It's this setup, this kind of organization, this kind of culture that we have here, where you pay fucking 50% taxes, is disgusting. It is the main reason why people work until they die, until they drop. I pay per year about as much in taxes as one person is paid in wages during that year. My taxes could pay for one person's wages for 1 year. Okay. If I didn't have to do that, my life would be very different. And yes, now people will say, what about the roads? What about the hospitals? What about this? What about that? We can still do all of those things. We recently had a very interesting book being published here in Norway, where actually the economist who wrote the books, he says that we could stop paying income tax and have the same welfare, because of the cost of running the system is so extremely high. If we get rid of the bureaucracy, if we get rid of the whole, basically, if we do what they do, if we in Norway, if we did what they're doing in the USA now, we wouldn't have to pay income tax. When it comes to private healthcare, I that's what I use here in Norway, because I'm not happy with the public healthcare, and they will not offer you the things that you probably need to get healthy. But anyway, so I already pay for my own healthcare. But anyway, so it's like this. You can you can live in a high cost, high tax country. It's not difficult to find those countries. Norway is one of those. But why why would I want that? You know? So maybe I'll just move to the USA. Maybe I'll just move to the USA and pay no income tax. That is, if he can pull that off. Now, I would be interested in seeing what happens next presidential term, especially if the Democrats win. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If they can pull this off, if there will be no income tax for under 150K per year, it will be very difficult, I think, for the Democrats to get elected next time. I mean, they will need some really, really good arguments. I mean, they could find video files of Trump doing the most horrible, disgusting things in a Russian hotel room, and people wouldn't care. And you can, I mean, people wouldn't care. Because this is so essential. This is so essential. And to me, it's very, very easy. It's very easy. Do I want to pay this amount of taxes or not? I don't want to do that. That's the answer. If I didn't have to pay all of that money in taxes, I could work less. I could actually have a better life, And it is the argument all of the fucking time that people will say, if you don't pay any taxes, you're not a moral person. It's indecent. You're a bad person. Well, you can stick those to those people saying that. You can stick those arguments up where the sun doesn't shine. Yes. So so there you have it. There you have it. The thing is, people have been conditioned to think that it's normal to pay, or let's put it another way. People have been conditioned to think that it's normal to work half the year for the state, or 1/3 of the year for the state, if you have low taxes. People have been conditioned to think that that's normal and that's the moral thing to do. I don't think so. I don't think it's right. So basically, if he can pull that off, I'm, I'll probably look into the process of moving to the USA. Right now, I think you have to have the COVID vaccine. And the way I see it, then it's not worth it because I'm never getting that vaccine. You have to have a COVID test and something. But you have the Kennedy guy, he's on it. As a friend of mine said, he is on that. And hopefully they can get rid of that nonsense. And I've always viewed the USA as such an awesome country. And I've been very negative about the Christian nationalists. I've been negative about the decisions that the Trump administration is doing. But as I'm saying, if you add this to the equation, it all makes sense. And I shouldn't have been so. I should have waited a little bit. But I guess I got emotional. Oh no, emotional. We should never get emotional. Yeah, I will admit that I get emotional sometimes. We all do, But about all of the nonsense about Greenland and all of that, you know. But here's the thing concerning Greenland: they want independence. I know that the spin on that in the USA is that, oh, they really want to be part of the USA. That's not true. That's a lie. But if you add to this no income tax, I'm tempted to say that a lot of the people in Greenland would think that, well, maybe we should become a state in the USA. Maybe, you know. Um, what about Canada? Uh, that's a little bit more doubtful, but what would the people say? Would you rather be an independent country and pay the taxes, or be a part of the USA and pay no taxes? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Um, I don't know. But, for me personally, if I didn't have to pay taxes, my life would be much, much easier. There is also another advantage to, well, there are many advantages to the USA. I would pick up everything I have and hopefully get my kids to come with me. Book a flight on one of those airplanes where the dogs can actually be inside the airplane with you. Pay all of that money. Okay, fly over to the USA and be there. But of course, it's not that easy to get what's it called, a green card. Maybe I would have to marry someone in the USA, something like that. I don't know how it works. So, this is. Do I know the details about this? No, I don't. But I'm just saying that if they can pull this off, no income tax. If you ask me, is that sensible? I would say that it's rather a question about what kind of society you want to live in. I'd be honest, would you rather live in a civilized country with no income tax, or a civilized country where the tax rate is so high that it makes you poor, which is the case in Norway now? Yeah, I know I could buy the gold card, but I can't. I don't have $5 million. Really? Front shots not required anymore, Liz. I didn't know that. Trump himself said that Norwegians are the ideal immigrants. Yeah, but anyway, so this is just me sharing some thoughts about this. I don't know the details about this, but I'm telling you, if there is no income tax, I'm coming over to the USA. And the countries that have no income tax now are usually very small countries, or they are in the South America, Middle East. And I don't want to live there. But the USA, I've been in the USA, just in New York and California. And the big advantage of the USA is, of course, all the nature, it would be such a paradise. I think so. I love Norway, but the thing is that I love Norway much less now. Two reasons. The level of taxation. No, three reasons. The level of taxation, our aggression towards Russia, and the tax level. No, I said that already. Oh yeah, the winters. I don't I really don't tolerate the cold so much anymore. It makes my neck hurt like a lot. Um, so yeah, maybe I should move to the USA. um, there's an offer here of marriage from who was it? Grasslands G says, I'm straight, but maybe we can marry just on paper. Well, that's very kind of you. That's thank you for the offer. So, yeah, Ein says 50% tax is brutal. I agree, move out, not worth it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I would, you know what? I would have to move to the south, near the coast, somewhere nice with nice climate and where it's warm. I'm, I, I don't, I won't pretend that I like the cold. It's just no. About the inflation, there's one thing about inflation. So let's say that. So okay, no tax would result in people having more money to spend, which in theory should increase inflation. But here's the thing: inflation only affects you if you buy stuff. Am I correct? No. If you don't buy anything, let's say you live off grid, which I would want to, you have to buy food, of course. But if you only, well, the inflation on food, okay, so that's an added cost, right? And you have the tax I'm paying now, which is about 50. Last year was, what was it? 60,000, around $60,000 last year in taxes. That's just the income tax. So the increase in inflation compared to paying 50,000 or 60,000 per year dollars, it's you can compare those two. Oh yeah, inflation is much cheaper. So, it's 60K. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. So I'll tolerate some inflation if I don't have to pay 60K in taxes every year. So Ian says, without income tax, inflation is fine. Yeah, well, it's there are many things that would change, of course, when you have no income tax. You could say that maybe wages would go down and so on. It would all adjust, but you can't. I mean, it would be a game changer, and the USA is one of those countries. I could see myself living in the USA. I got some hate mail last year. Last year as well. Yesterday, I mean, yesterday I got some hate mail in the mail, like a letter, some Christian hate mail. I get a lot of that, and it's not a problem. I just throw it away, and I'm telling you that because, of course, I wouldn't like being called a sinner and a bad person and all of that, which would happen now and then. if you live in close proximity to, I guess, one of the Christian, one of those evangelist um, things there. But even that, I would tolerate that, you know. I would tolerate even that. Yeah. Uh, let's see. Yeah, and yes, DJ Lewis says it will be changed. Their carbon tax and digital money will be taken out of your account without you knowing. Um, Liz says we're not all Christians in the USA. Yeah, I don't have a problem with people being Christians, of course. Also, so um, it's just people who think that they have to tell me that I'm going to hell that I have a problem with. Gabriel of Norway says Norway is a G. Good, you mean? Place to live anyway. No, money isn't everything. I know money isn't everything, but also you need it to survive. And we all have to adapt, don't we? You know, Norway hasn't given me anything. And I can prove that. I can give you the numbers. So, let's see here. Let's see. Thank you, Laura. So it's like in Norway, we have a problem now, of course, because not only do they tax you into oblivion, but also that's the socialists now. They came up with this rule, and it's called exit tax, which is a problem. And I was hoping that we have an election this autumn, and I was hoping that the Conservatives could get into the government and get rid of the exit tax, and that would be my window to get out, right? The exit tax is they will tax you, is it 38% or something like that of your worth, everything, if you move out to Norway. Those greedy fucking bastards. Yes. Yep. So they will punish you to get out if you try to get out of Norway. But, even if they do that, they steal almost half your money. It would still be worth it because you can then start building up your wealth again, investing and so on, without having the burden of taxes. And you can then show your middle finger to the government in Norway for what they did, money lost and all of that, stolen. It's basically theft. But yeah, we'll see. There is still hope that the Conservatives will win the election. Right now, it doesn't look so good, but yeah. So, yeah, I think exit tax is the most immoral tax there is. So, yeah, same in Germany, says Carola. Well, so let's talk about something more pleasant. So, okay, that's the money issue, and I there are microbes at the bottom of deep oceans that would care more about the condemnation I would face if I took my money and left Norway and moved to the USA because of the taxes, or no taxes. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what people think. Um, Chicken Beak says, make no mistake, though, there's about 0.1 chance it happens. Um, yeah, I'm not naive, of course. This could be. I don't know, but this is if it happens, and if it seems to stick, you know, then I will absolutely consider to move to the USA. Absolutely. Why would I not? So let's talk about something more pleasant. Where to move? I've only been in New York, which I didn't like at all, and I've been to Los Angeles, which I didn't like at all. And like an idiot, I went swimming at the beach there, and the waves almost uh, s- pushed me out into the Pacific. But yeah, um, uh, and I have to live by the ocean. So yeah, but I went up north to the big trees. Alaska would be too cold. Humid. I don't mind if it's humid. I really don't mind. I've been to very humid places like India many years ago now, but I didn't mind that. That was okay. So, um, yeah, but not too warm. I don't like a desert. I have never been in a desert, but I like trees. Thank you, Muriel. You think my hair looks very glossy tonight. Thank you. Yeah, it's actually when you get older, you don't tolerate uh, the cold as much. Um, yeah, I don't know, and I really don't want it to be similar to Norway. Actually, I want it to be warmer. Uh, I was thinking Florida maybe, but I don't know. Maybe that's I would have to go there and see. Uh, Somewhere along the East Coast, I guess, would be nice. And people are mentioning the druggies. Uh, yeah, of course, that's why here it's like a problem all over the place. Um, so not perfect, of course, but I wouldn't want to live in a city or a very populated area anyway. Um, and it's a little bit like, as long as I don't see it, then it doesn't bother me. That's maybe a very selfish thing to say, but I came to the conclusion that I can't. I'm not here to save people, and if they want to be doing drugs, then they that's what they'll do, and I just don't want it near my house, you know. uh, um, yeah, well, Northern California. Yeah, that was really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. Um, let's see. And I don't. I think that I don't care if people are woke walking around with blue hair and nose ring. I don't care so much. But then again, we don't have the level of woke here in Norway as they do in the USA, I believe. So if they're like coming up to you in the streets and bothering you, I don't know. Do they do that? Why would they do that? I don't think they do that. So Dennis, welcome. So I don't know. I don't know, but it's like the USA is not perfect. Of course, it's not. Um, but if you don't pay any income tax, it's a game changer. And I see a lot of people moving. A lot of people would move to the USA. A lot of people, if they had no income tax. New World Order is asking, does Norway tax your retirement? Yes, they do. They tax that as well. This says no place is perfect. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and I haven't looked into the details because it's those plans are not really that concrete at this point as far as I was able to find out. So there's, I guess, a federal income tax and a state income tax maybe. I don't know how it works. I don't know. But it's like I need to look at the options. And if that's an option, then why not? Uh, let's see here. Steph says, cabin in the woods in the US, get some land, come over. Most red Texan Americans says most red states don't do a state tax. Okay, so I would move to a red state then. Yeah. And again, I don't get why people are so here in Norway. If you say what I'm saying here now, and I'm going to say it. Now, I'm not very sociable, but if you say this, people will be very they will condemn you in every possible way, and because you're not supposed to no, it's this attitude here in Norway that you're supposed to love paying taxes, and people will say it. They will say, I pay my taxes with joy. Directly translated, they will say that. That's that's crazy to me. You know what? I will gladly pay taxes for hospitals, the maintenance of roads, schools, and so on. But the reality, as has been proven, is that we could have all these things, all the good things in a well-functioning society. We could have all those things with a much, much lower tax rate. We're talking like less than 10% or zero. um, the reality now is that the cost of living is at such a level, and the taxes is playing a huge part of that. That young people decide that they will either wait until they're around 30 or to have kids, or they won't have kids at all, which is creating the biggest problem that we have. We don't make enough children there, right? So, and I've said this many times, we need to make it easier financially to have children when you're younger, because we are looking, I mean, the biggest crisis that we are facing, it's not the environment, it's the fact that we are not having enough children. I mean, we're not we're not making enough children in the West. So the population is getting older, and that it will not add up. Very soon, it's not going to add up. They will increase the taxes more and more and more. They will take away more and more and more of the things that the good things about the welfare state, just to make the numbers, the equation there go up, to not go up, but make the equation, make the numbers, yeah, you know what I mean. But it's not, eventually, it's not going to work. So the crazy thing here in Norway, and this is why I'm not a Norwegian nationalist, and I'm not never going to be that. It's you're supposed to love the king and the royal family, and I don't at all. Why would I do that? You're supposed to love paying your taxes. You're supposed to love cross-country skiing. I like cross-country skiing, but on TV, it's very boring to watch that. Uh, and yeah, so the list goes on, and I don't subscribe to any of that. Um, and people just pay their taxes, and they think that it's immoral not to do that. So yeah, why don't you love the king? He's your king. Well, why would I approve of a system like that? We shouldn't have a king. It's insane. Yeah. Yeah, sadly, we still have a royal family, and they're all crooks. Maybe not the king himself, but the kids. Speaking about the druggies, that's a bunch of druggies there, right there. Let's see here. And another thing that is kind of quite scary is that there's propaganda now in Norway and in other European countries as well. Propaganda about the military. They're trying to get to, well, of course, we have the mandatory conscription in Norway, but it's like this idea that they're trying to sell to people, and people buy this stupid argument that, oh, it's the best thing ever to be in the military, you will be fighting the Russians and all of that. And now they are talking about sending Norwegian kids to Ukraine, to the front there, to fight the Russians. So I mean, and people buy that. They think, oh, we are fighting for democracy against the bad Russians. People are so fucking stupid. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Yeah, you know, It's I'm ashamed to say this. I'm almost ashamed of my nationality when yeah, but that is the thing here. Um, and if you say that no, that's a silly thing to do. It's a stupid thing to do. Um, then people will tell you, "Oh, what are you going to do when the Russians come here?" And you know, so yeah. Um, I'm very sorry to hear that. Yeah, and when I say, okay, if I get sent to the front in the military, yeah, I'm a middle-aged man, but I'm still under the age of 55, which means that the state believes that they own me in that regard. If I'm sent to the front, I'm not here to defend my family against those people who come here that you say will come here then. Okay, so that argument is just stupid. But anyway, we'll see what happens, with the 0% income tax. It is very interesting. Also, people are saying, no, not happening. We will see. We will see. And if it happens, then it's going to be a game changer. If it happens, all the other things that the Trump administration is doing is suddenly making sense. um, yeah. So, you know, I don't know. I think there's been nothing about this in Norwegian mainstream media yet, but we'll see what happens. One thing I can guarantee you, I'm not going to sit here and be a willing servant for a warmongering government. I will get myself and my kids and my dogs out of this place because I'm not going to do what Europeans have been doing since the dawn of time, which is to throw themselves into the battle to get killed. It seems to be something that Europeans can never stop doing. And it should stop. But what I'm seeing now is that it's a madness in the population. And I know that if this continues, it's time to get out. Yeah. Positivity says, just wait, your fellow citizens will turn against you. Don't you do that. No, the USA. I'll go to the USA. No income tax, especially with no income tax. Why would I not? Ian says, or we, been fighting for centuries. It needs to stop. It needs to stop, absolutely. But it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. So, no, I don't have cats. No, I have dogs. Oh, thank you, DPFX, with a lots of nines there. Thank you. get a gold card. I wish I had that kind of money. Um, yeah. Yes, Grossland says Americans rebelled over a 2% tax on tea. Yes. Um, I heard Chicago is quite cold in the winter. No, you know what? I would want to live in a place that is warm and pleasant and nice with no income tax. With trees near the coast so that you can go swimming in the sea and, you know, go hiking. I think that's, yeah. I'm done with the cold winters. I'm done with the cold winters now. So yeah. Yeah, I've looked at the prices of houses. So if I sell my house, I mean, I have a house in Norway. I could easily buy a much cheaper house in the USA. So because of the housing crisis there. Gabriel of Norway doesn't want me to move to the USA. He says the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Each to his own, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, the Carolinas, I think would be quite nice. I haven't been there, but yeah. Let's see. But I know very little about the USA. I just know that I don't want to pay 50, 60,000 K per year in taxes. I don't want that anymore. Call me crazy, but that's just me, maybe that's just me. So, yeah. Also, if my income is not, I could work from anywhere, you know, and so why would I live in an insanely high taxed country with insanely high food prices? Everything's expensive. Why would I move? Why would I not move? Of course, I would travel first. Yeah, and I'm tired. I am so tired of working. Um, really, really tired. Um, I would say that, well, moving to Norway, most of the people I talk to who come from the USA who moved to Norway, they think that Norway is a much better place to live. I mean, when you get past the initial, Norwegians are not that easy to get. Well, some people say that we are cold. I don't think so, but when you get past that, most people really like it here if they come from the USA. But the thing is, I'm talking about taxes. And not only are the taxes insanely high, but they're also talking about increasing the taxes. Now, um, they said, what they said, the socialists who got into government now, they said before election that this was part of one of their selling points to the voters. We're going to get the rich. like take them, grab them, do something to them, punish them. And people bought that, and they swallowed it up, and they loved that. And they can keep saying that. They can keep saying that because there's a large portion of the population who thinks that the rich people, that's the other people. And they can't grasp the fact that rich people, in most cases, that's you. That's a code word for we'll just generally tax everyone much more. And also, yes, they increased the wealth tax. Now, it's a bit complicated, but they increased the wealth tax. I won't get into the details on that, but that resulted in people who have a company. They moved out to Norway. They brought their company with them, and they moved to typically Switzerland. Because they couldn't afford to live. They couldn't afford to live here. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Moving to the USA, I don't know. I think that having traveled quite a bit, that those stereotypes, they are not true when you get to know people. The stereotypical American is loud, stupid, fat, and they think that America is the best. um, that's the stereotypical American in the way Europeans see it. But I don't think it's true. I think that when you go to the country in question, you discover that that's not, people are not like that. That's the comic book, cartoonish stereotype. Um, so yeah, I'm not getting a single vaccine shot, not even one. So if they have those, well, I did get that when I was a kid, of course. But apart from that, no, that's not worth it because I don't trust those companies, the big pharma companies. Um, uh, Gabriel Freedom says you could be a nomad in the west of the USA. I did it for 2 years. There is still an unbelievable amount of open, free public lands in the US West. Hotep says plenty of oikophobia here and in Canada. What's that? I never heard that word. So mixing, I'm a little bit tired, mixing some Norwegian words in here. I have never heard that word before. Yeah. Who else says no more vaccines? We're done with that. It's not, concerning vaccines, it's not that I'm against vaccines. I think certainly some things should be vaccinated against. You should, of course, that should be up to the individual. But the problem is that after COVID and the medical disaster there, I don't trust those companies. I don't know what's in those vaccines. I don't trust them. So yeah. Quiet Solar says, I was nomadic for almost a decade working Renaissance festivals and doing storm flood fire relief. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that idea, being nomadic, you know. Well, no, I did not get vaccinated during COVID. But when I say here that, no, I haven't had COVID and I didn't get the vaccine. So, um, but I'm saying I'm not against vaccines, like proper vaccines, in the sense that, for instance, many years ago I was going to Thailand and I got the vaccine for that many years ago, and I got vaccines as a kid. So yeah, kids dying of measles in the USA right now, they weren't vaccinated. There you see, Craig, what Big Pharma did during COVID. I hold them responsible. Steph says, get a seasonal job like Timothy Ward. I don't have to work. If I don't pay taxes, I would absolutely not have to work anymore. I wish I had stopped working. I haven't stopped working now, but I don't have to work. I work much less now because I can't work so much anymore. But with no income taxes, it would be so much easier. Yeah, I think Trump says a lot of stupid things. Drink bleach. I don't know what that means. Yeah, Texas absolutely is interesting, but I've heard that it's very warm during summer, like crazy warm. He didn't say that with bleach. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And these, now I don't trust anything any longer, because those video clips could be AI generated. I don't know. I don't know what's real or not anymore. Insanely hot weather here in Texas during summer. Yeah. And humidity. Yeah. No, I think the Carolinas seems nice, but I haven't been to any of those places. So, yeah. Texas is so flat. I don't mind it being flat. I like mountains, but also it's like I don't need mountains, but I do need the sea and forest. Yeah. I actually like flat landscape. I live in flat landscape now. Well, not that flat, but it's not we don't have mountains here where I live now. So yeah. So, I don't know what to make of that statement with no income tax, but Tennessee, yes, maybe that's, yeah, I couldn't place the states Well, some of them, many of them, but I couldn't. I would not be able to place all the U.S. states on the map. To be honest with you, it's a bit embarrassing, but at least I'm being honest with you. I I'm going to have a look at the map, you know. And to get a green card, I know it's a long process. So yeah. Um, Gabriel says 80% of the US population is east of the Mississippi. Go west. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yes, isn't that true, JL? Most Americans don't know anything about Norway, unfortunately. And your Americans will say, let's go to Europe for vacation, like it's a country. And when they say Europe, they talk about, you know, France, maybe Spain, Italy, and that's just a tiny part of Europe, maybe Germany. So, but we're not any better here because, as I said, I would not be able to place the states correctly on a map in the USA. So, uh, Wisconsin, Idaho, but not the sea. Yes. Laurie, really? 95% of the time, if you say I'm from Estonia, they will say, "Oh, Russia." Okay. Um, um, yeah. The US is essentially Europe. The states are like European countries. Okay, that's interesting because there are some states that are very Norwegian. Lots of Norwegians went there during the immigration time there, and uh, it's like why they went to the coldest, most miserable. Sorry, not miserable, but the coldest, most. They went to the place that looked and felt the most like Norway. So, okay. No, I would want to go somewhere much more warm and pleasant. No, I don't have the intention here to discredit people who live in those colder states. It's just that my neck is not fond of the cold anymore. And I like the sea, so maybe not the Midwest. And I hear that the Midwest has, Laura, brutal winters. And I don't really have a lot of need to live somewhere where descendants of Norwegian immigrants are living. I don't need that. So yeah, no, I think I'll start in Florida and move up the coast there maybe and see if there are some nice places there. But you know, again, this is just me thinking and out loud about the option and of moving to the USA. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe they will just close the borders for immigration. I don't know, but if they make it so that the tax level will be 0%, absolutely, I have to consider that. And by the way, I don't care if it's very liberal. I don't care if it's very Christian. I don't care so much about that, because that's less important than paying 60K per year in taxes, as I do now. um, uh, let's see here. Um, can you do hurricanes, earthquakes, or tornadoes? I'd rather not. um, let's see here. Can I put these live streams on a separate channel, please? This is a separate channel for live streams. That's what this channel is about. I'm not going to put one of my helmets on right now, but maybe another time. Yeah. I don't know about hurricanes. I'm quite heavy, so maybe I wouldn't be blown away by the hurricane. Yeah, this is Bjorn Talks, which is a live streaming channel mainly. Yeah. Sharp Canine says you cannot afford to be sick in the USA. Yeah, I get it, but I can't afford to be sick here either. So let's see. Used to such countries in a country, liberal people, woke people. Not really. Norway is not really a woke country. It's not. People are just behaving quite normal here. So I think that's a myth. Yeah. But it's like it's like it's each to his own or her own. If you want a big welfare state, high taxes, then Scandinavia would be a good place to move. So yeah, I could get quite a lot of healthcare for 60K per year, I think. Okay, I'll leave it at that. And we'll see what happens. Okay. Wonderful. Have a wonderful day or evening, whatever it is. And we'll talk soon.